Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Cindy with Moonfire Studios. We are on part 2 of the Box of Sunshine #1 kit. And in case you didn't see any of the other ones, this is what comes in your kit. There are a whole lot of papers, A4 sizes, and there are some full sizes as well as I think 8x8 maybe, and sentiments, extras to cut, a whole bunch of goodies. Not only in that size, but there are A5 elements that I've already got my little hands on, and there's just a few of those. And the handmade flowers that are handmade by Marta herself. Even has the UPC code. I think that's so cool. So what I am doing is, I previously with my daughter made a box, and this video I am working on an altered book to make a junk journal out of. So if you would like to see how I did the altering of the pages, it's in the previous video. So I will set that aside, and we will get to covering the book itself. This is a handmade paper. It's a large format. I think it's 20. This one is 17 by 25 approximately. So what I'm going to be doing is covering this book. Normally when I cover a book, I do not have the pages in it, so it's much easier to just go across and fold it up. So we will be doing this a little bit differently. Usually the end papers are already stuck down. I do, however, want this ruffled edge to be actually on the edge. And what I will be doing is taking some of this gorgeous trimming here with the little eyelet lace bit on there that I got from my dear friend Marta, who is also the creator, original artist of the Drop of Sunshine. She does have a lot of freebies available, and she does have a Drop of Inspiration Facebook group, which I very much encourage you to join. Okay, so I will link all of her goodies down below. She does also have a Box of Sunshine kit #2, which is beautiful poinsettias and things for Christmas season, holiday season. So I'm just thinking how I want to do this, because I want not only this edge on the front, I want this edge on the back, and more of this will be in between there. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of actually wrapping the book like this, I am going to paste it on the book. I am going to make a slit. Now let's see, how do I want to? Because I don't, if it was a book that I liked the the title or it had a fancy spine on it, I would just cut it here so that this would be open and put a book dangle on it. But I don't particularly care about the title. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it even with the top and the bottom. I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to cut about maybe 2 inches or about maybe 4.5, 5 centimeters from the edge of the book. And then what I will do is I will take, because that'll be glued down approximately to here, and then I will take this and I will extend it over, and I will actually make this a pocket on the back side to put things in. So that will not only hide the fact that I cut part of it off, it will help camouflage, and then this can blend in with the rest. So what we need to do now is mark how tall we want our paper to be. And let's see, this book is 24 centimeters, or approximately 9.5 inches. First, I'm going to glue this onto the top of the front cover where I want it. And again, I'm using Fabri-Tac because, well, it's fabric. And I'm just going right at where the hole starts. And it will ooze through because this is thin trim. But that's okay because we're going to be covering it up. So I just press on this and then rub this little bit extra to catch the edge piece there. And if you want to, you can rub it off. It's not necessary because, like I said, we are going to cover it up. Just make sure you get a nice good bond with this on the cover. And then, okay, so this is dried, and now I'm going to just snip the edge off. Just sort of rough like. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is figure out how long I want this to be. And I have some clips. Here's some clips. So I'm going to put this that way. Like so. And you'll have to excuse me today if I drop a bunch of stuff or I'm not as bubbly as usual. I've got a spot in my arm in my shoulder that likes to swell up on me, and it has done so today. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to place this exactly where I want it to be, and I may trim it down just a smidge. I'm not sure because I don't want it to interfere with this little this is going to go in here as for a bendy part. So I think I'm going to trim a little off of the edge here. And don't trim too much to begin with in case, well, you can't put it back on. You could. Being a junk journal, we can always put things back on. So I think maybe a little more. Here you go. Oh, thank you. Darling daughter, dearest, brought me a drink. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going back to bed.
Back to, okay. Not to sleep.
Maybe to sleep. I don't know.
No, okay.
I am going to continue writing my case.
Your case studies?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have fun.
Oh, I will. You too. Enjoy your case studies.
I will.
Okay. She is doing true crime case studies?
Huh?
What are you doing? What type of case studies again? True crime?
True crime, and I'm coming up with my own.
True crime case stories, and she's inventing her own to solve. Awesome. Thanks for the drink.
You're welcome.
So, take a little bit more off. And let's see. I do believe I am happy with that. Or do I want a little more? I think a little more, because this side has a bit more of that blue stuff. I don't want to take off too much of this blue though. I'll take off just a tiny, just a smidgen of the flowery part. Not too much. Well, how does that look? You guys like that? I think I'm happy with that. Okay, and then we will take the clips and we'll clip it to this blue paper where I want it to be. There. And now I'm going to stitch around the edge. Do I want this ruffled? Yes, I don't want it straight. I want it kind of ruffly. So I'm going to take this little, you can take a paper edger, you can take the edge of your scissors, you can take a fingernail and a bone folder, whatever you want, and rough up the edges. And I'm okay. I tend to do it a little hard. Because I like to get some of these, there's little divotty spots in here now that I think make it look a little more vintage like. Oh, and I forgot, I wanted to ink the edges. Let's see what the scissors added to that looks like. The scissors tend to make it a little more fluffy, as you can see by all the paper dust. Okay, and I don't like to ink on my black mat because it stains it, and the glass mats just make it so much easier to clean. So I'm gonna go with this Pale Fig Quick Dry. I'm using the Quick Dry because I don't have the Pale Fig for some reason in the water reactive dye. So just kind of getting a good coating along the outside edge first, and then I'll blend it in just a little bit to create some more added depth. And I like to start in the corners, and I go a little bit heavier in the corners because it creates a nice shadow box effect. Oh, look how pretty that matches her watercolor purple. I like that. And then I'm just kind of bringing in a little bit over the edge as a type of a frame. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see on camera, but you can see there. It's a nice close-up, I believe. So I'm going to stitch this on first and then add my layers to the top. I'm going to ink this, but since it's very pliable, I'm going to wait until it's adhered to the book. So I'm going to go stitch this on with my machine, and I will be right back. If you don't have a machine, you can hand stitch it. If you don't like hand stitching, you can take a gel pen or a glaze pen, any pen really, and you can make little stitching lines, little crisscrosses, little circles. You can just draw solid lines all the way around, or leave it plain, however you feel. So I will be right back. Okay, so a little while later for me, pretty much right back for you. I did decide while I was sewing, of course, as true Cindy style, to still make a pocket on the cover. So I did not sew across the top. And I don't mind that it's not sewn on the paper. I think it's kind of cool. I did, for some reason, I did leave the little stragglies on this one. I'm not sure if I will cut them off later on or not, but for right now, I like them. So they will stay. Just trying to think of, I think for these little, the divots in the spine, I don't think I want to use double-sided tape because Well, I'll show you why. Even the red liner. You take it, you put it in there, you squish it in nice and firmly. There's no air bubbles. It's all in there. And then, so that's why a lot of reasons I won't use this by itself, especially. It does work great on papers, just not so much on fabric or the fabric decorator papers, because all it ends up doing is taking off the felt or fibers of it. So get all the paper dust off of there. I'm going to use the fabric if I can speak, I'm going to use the trusty Fabri-Tac for this. Hi everyone. I just had to take a short break because the hubby, bless his little heart, went to the store and for my shoulder got me one of those sticky pads. And boy, is it smelly. I would rather smell the glue all day long. So anyway, poof, I just might act a little funky now. And it's cold. Is it supposed to get tingly cold? I guess that means it starts working. Anyway, since this is fibrous paper, there's some thin spots in it. So I do not want to use the normal Fabri-Tac. I am going to use the Fabri-Tac Power Fuse because it doesn't go through to the other side of thinner things and more porous things. So it is a white glue. It is not stinky. But it is super strong, super permanent, and you have very little leeway time to stick your stuff on. Because once you put it down, it's sort of like the red liner tape, where once it's down, it's pretty much down. So I'm getting this as close as possible that I want it to be. And I'm going to put some clips. Okay, so line this up as best as possible. And then put my clips as close to the end. Let me finagle right about there. Okay, I have fixed my cover where I want it. I put the little clips on the back so that nothing will shift, because I wanted to make sure that I got it right up against the edge of the black of the book. Which, if you wanted to, if it bothered you, you could just paint the edges of the book with some gesso or something, or on stuff like this, I'd rather use gesso than acrylic paint because the gesso has glue in it, so it'll help it to adhere and not crack. So just going around, make sure I get in that little divot spot of the spine nice and goopy. Just sort of squiggle. I tend to overglue, and I know I do, but that's me. Okay, now we're just going to lay it over. I'm going to flatten it out, some nice coverage, and smoosh it into the bend of the spine. And if you have any glue overages, since it's a white glue and you can't rub it off, use a wet wipe. Just sort of brush the edges down, and that'll get the glue off. Don't get it too wet now, because remember, it is still paper. I just sort of press it up against the book, roll it over the edge, like so. Okay, and then we will transfer the clips to the front. Not so much to hold it, but more of so I don't accidentally peel it up from there, because it is still wet, it is still drying. And then I will just wrap it around. If you wanted to put a book dangle on it before you glue the spine down, you would poke a hole there in the paper, and that's where you would put your little ring or clip or whatever to have it attached to. Now, very carefully, Cheeseburger's dreaming. I don't know if you guys can hear her little woofs. Now this, because it only goes up so high, I'm putting it direct to the paper instead of on the book. For the edges, now just kind of tap that down. There's my border, and then I'll put the rest on the actual book itself. There. Now I'm really happy with that. I'm going to let that dry before I put my pocket on here, so that nothing gets too oversaturated with glue. I'm actually going to have it dry this way. So that everything's stretched out for the spine. And then when that's dry, we'll come back and we'll do the pocket. Okay, now we're done drying. So, that's not bad. Got a little bit of seepage, but that's okay. We shall make our pocket. Now, see exactly how I want to do this. I think I want a diagonal pocket that comes up a little bit to tuck in like that. First, though, we want to put our other side of our violet trim in. And as we saw, the thin spots, it seeped through still because it's extremely porous and thin in certain places. And that's okay, because it's a junk journal. It's not supposed to be perfect. I keep telling myself that because I used to make coffee table albums and everything had to be perfect. I'm conditioning myself. And my shoulder's feeling much better since TJ stuck that stinky patchy thing on it. But you know, I'll deal with the stinky because I don't have to deal with the hurty. Yay! I can grab things now, so, which is good. I use my left hand for a lot of stuffings, as I'm sure don't we all. Okay. Now, figure out where I want my pocket to be. I think that's a little too high. Trying to make it approximately the same as the front cover. I'll use the power fuse again, just not quite so much. I knew I overglued it, I always do. That, and I was kind of ouchy, so I didn't smear it like this to spread it, because I forgot. But that's okay. It's a junk journal. It's supposed to look old and messy. Right? Right. Alrighty. Now, before I glue this down, oops, I'm going to make a mess. Haha. Too late. I'm going to ink the edges of this one. And you have to be careful because it's just like a thicker mulberry paper, so don't go all, you know, how you would usually ink regular cardstock or something, because you'll tear it. As you can see, occasionally I still get it bunched up and stuff, so see, I went too much on these fluffy bits. I'm just doing a little bit. And as you can see, I'm going from the inside out. Like so. And since I'm putting it over top of this one, I want to make sure I get these edges. Otherwise it's going to be harder to do once you put this on. You'll have a kind of a little line there. That's a little low. I don't know if I can move that. Well, I can't move that, so oops. See what I did there? I don't like that, so maybe I will have to put some over that fooey. Oh, that does look much better, eh? Well, now I could put a double layer anyway and then tear this and make it ruffly. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. I just make more work for myself, but that's all right. Make it to where you're happy with it, not anyone else. Okay, so this needs to go further in, like there. Whoops, sorry. Further in, like there. Haha. Okay, so let's just make a little bit more of a slit here. I'm gonna end up cutting that part off. I just need to see how far to make it go in. Okay, so right there. And then we will snippity-doo-dah you. Along the pocket. Okay, before I cut that off, alright, there, I did it. I pulled it off. Yep. But I'm keeping that like that. You can use a brush to move it around. If you feel it's too thick for your project, you can add a little bit of water and it'll become more of like a Mod Podge style consistency. That's the word I'm looking for. Just trying not to glue my pocket shut. This is Boo Boo's 101 with the crafty sin here. Okay. That's nicer looking. Luckily, this paper is really fibrous, so it does take a bit to dry. That's the only reason I was able to peel that off. Okay, so that goes there, that goes there. Blob. Hehe. I'm not cutting off this flap until after it's dried on there. You can cut it off beforehand. I am not, so I can get nice and close up to the edge without worrying about it shifting. Okay, I will take this glue right around the front into this cover bend, and I will let it dry some more. And then I will come back in and show you how I fix the edge. Okay guys, let's work on finishing up this cover. So we have the back part here with this little flap that needs cut off. And I'm just going to, it's gotten pretty wet and pliable from the glue. So I'm just going to separate it by pulling it apart, like so. There. Add a little bit of ink to the edge. I went ahead and inked around the new part here, so you didn't have to watch me do that again. Now, I hope I can see if I can get away with just separating it out from the front too. If so, that would be really nice. Make sure you put your finger on the part you want to stay and only pull on the part that goes. If you get a really thick piece in there that doesn't want to pull out, just take some scissors and snip it. Like these blue fibers are pretty thick in there. little bit of bleed through, but not too much, so it's not as hateful. And I'm actually going to maybe fluff that around a bit. There. So we've got the cover wrap done. And then there's the back pocket. I think I accidentally glued stuff in there. Oh well. We shall just make it a little, not put so big a piece of paper in it. Anyhoozle, you get the idea. There's a pocket. So the next video we will decorate the front and maybe do an inside page and go from there. So I will see you guys next time. Please like, subscribe, comment if you'd like to see something specifically done, or if you have a question on anything, let me know. And see, right now I'm playing around. Anyway, it does help our channel to grow, and it helps me to figure out what kind of content you would like to see. So yeah, please subscribe if you haven't, and give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.